And now to the big trending story that you are all kinds of fired up about today. The Obama administration has found that a suburban Chicago school district discriminated against a male student who says he identifies as a female. The student, who has not been named, brought a complaint with the help, of course, of the ACLU. And they say school administrators singled out and stigmatized the transgendered student when the school district created a private shower area to try to accommodate the student in the girls' locker room. The U.S. Department of Education is giving the school 1 month to provide full access to the girls' locker rooms, or the district will lose federal funding. Here to discuss is a school board member from the neighboring district who happens also to be a clinical psychologist, as well as my friend and co-author on our book, Ladies and Gentlemen, Dr. Dathan Paterno. Welcome back to America Trends.
Hi, Gina. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, Dr. Paterno. Now, so it sounds like the school initially tried to accommodate this student. They built him sort of a partitioned off portion of the girls' restroom so that the girls that were in the restroom still felt comfortable, but she felt comfortable as well. Why wasn't that good enough?
Well, it's never going to be good enough for the left. What we have here is not just tolerance, not just acceptance, not even support. It's got to be complete glorification and utter surrender.
And so the next thing that happens now, the school has 30 days to comply or they lose their federal funding. Would this be the first example of a school that has actually lost their federal funding over not allowing genetically born boys to be in the same restrooms with genetically born girls?
As far as I know, it would be. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that the Fed, well, obviously the Fed is in too much with states and local governments. But federal funding is a very small percentage of a district's budget. So even if they lost those federal funds, they could easily make them up by going to taxpayers and asking for a very small increase, which I don't know many districts who are able or willing to do that. But that's exactly what needs to be done. They need to say bye-bye to the federal government. We can take care of ourselves. We don't need the money and we don't need the control.
Now, you're on a school board in a neighboring district, and I know things haven't been easy for you because of some measures sort of like this that have come your way. I see a little traffic out there in social media. Do you think that the school will ultimately comply, or do you think they will try to get along without the federal funds?
You know, the superintendent, now this district, just so you know, is almost neighboring mine. It's only about 15, 20 minutes from me. So I know some of the people who go there and some of the staff. And I know that the superintendent and the school board have so far been pretty firm about their sticking to their guns. And they have been very accommodating. They refer to this boy as she. They've allowed going to a different bathroom. They have bent over backwards in almost every way except this one. So I think they want to fight, but I think if their voters tell them that they're going to lose a ton of money and you better not come to us for that money, they might just crack. So I'm a little concerned about them.
I mean, what is really the best, and I realize you're not an attorney, you qualify as just about everything else we need to ask on this show, but I think the attorney part might be missing. But I mean, what's the school to do? Because let's just say the school complies and they let the little boy who now wants to be a girl into the girls' restroom. And then something happens. Maybe there's just an inappropriate sight or something. Someday, at some point, some little boy is going to say he wants to be a little girl so he can get in the girls' restroom so he can go about whatever mischievous activities that teenage boys will do. And at that point, there's going to be a parent or 2 parents or 10 parents or 10,000 parents who are going to sue because the schools have permitted someone from a different gender into the restroom of the girls. So how in the world are schools going to know what to do to prevent more lawsuits?
Well, 2 things. They're going to be protected from a lawsuit because they're following federal law until and unless they get rid of the Title IX funds and dissemble themselves from the federal government. But you raised an interesting topic. You talked about little boys, but high schoolers can stay in high school until they're 21. Yeah. So theoretically, we could have 21-year-old boys in a locker room showering with 14-year-old girls. If that doesn't make our stomachs turn, I don't know what would.
And so, what do you say is the answer here, Dr. Paterno? I mean, if they called you tomorrow and said, "What should we do?" What would your answer be?
Well, I want to get feds out of the local government. So I think we need to take the small hit and say, bye-bye, we don't need your money and we don't need your control. We can control ourselves and we can fund ourselves so that we can make our decisions for ourselves. Now, I really think that this is kind of a pernicious act on the federal government to take advantage of states that need a lot of money, and Illinois is hurting for money, as you probably know, and so they can really stick it to the state by saying, we'll give you some money, but you have to follow our rules. But the money really is, again, a small percentage, so I think we need to just say, we don't need it, and we can do just okay by ourselves.
It's fascinating, and I guess we'll just have to keep watching this. Are you hearing from many parents on the school board that are in the school where you serve on the school board, Dr. Paterno, as they can sort of see that the ACLU isn't doing this obviously in isolation? This is obviously an attempt to pave a new frontier in the way bathrooms are done in schools, I guess. So are you hearing from parents in your district?
I'm hearing from parents and I'm hearing from the teenagers, particularly the teenage girls are disgusted by this. They don't want boys in the bathroom, whether their boys are hormonally different or they're wearing the accoutrements of girls. They don't want it. And I know that parents almost overwhelmingly do not want boys, anatomical boys or genetic boys, which this boy is, no matter what he wears or what he wants to go by. Every last cell in his body is male. So they don't want that to happen either. But they are afraid of lawsuits, and they're afraid, I think, of being called bigots.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Paterno. Keep us updated on that, because certainly this isn't the last we've heard of this. Up next, we're going to talk about